Hey, I'm Emily Thompson, 32 years old, living in a quiet cul-de-sac in Naperville, Illinois, just outside Chicago, where the winters bite hard and the summers smell like fresh cut grass and backyard barbecues. People around here call it the perfect suburb, and for the most part, they're right. Tree-lined streets, good schools, neighbors who wave when they walk their golden retrievers. It's the kind of place where you raise kids and grow old without too much drama. At least, that's what I used to think. Mark and I have been married 8 years now. 8 solid, mostly happy years. We met back at the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. Go Illini! I was studying graphic design, he was in architecture, and we literally bumped into each other at a coffee shop near the quad. He spilled his latte all over my sketchbook, apologized about 100 times, and offered to buy me a new one. By the end of that week, we were inseparable. He had this easy confidence, those piercing blue eyes, and a smile that could melt ice in February. Tall, broad-shouldered, with dark hair that always looked a little tousled, like he'd just run his hand through it after a long day on a job site. Even now, when he walks through the door in his button-down and jeans, my stomach still does a little flip. We got married right after graduation in a small ceremony at a vineyard downstate. Nothing fancy, just family, friends, string lights, and way too much wine. 2 years later, Ava came along, our little girl with Mark's blue eyes and my stubborn streak. Then Ben showed up 2 years after that, all chubby cheeks and giggles. Life shifted into this comfortable rhythm. Mark heading downtown to his firm most days, me working freelance from home so I could be there for school pickups and soccer practice. Our house is that classic two-story colonial with the white siding and black shutters, a swing set in the backyard, and a kitchen island where we do everything from homework to late-night talks over a glass of Cabernet. Most nights, Mark gets home around 6:30. I'll have dinner going, nothing gourmet, maybe grilled chicken with roasted veggies or tacos because the kids love them. We eat together at the table, no phones, talking about Ava's art project or Ben's latest obsession with dinosaurs. After baths and bedtime stories, Mark does the best voices for the characters, the house finally quiets down. That's our time. We'll pour another glass of wine, curl up on the couch, and just reconnect. Mark's hands are never far from me. A brush against my back, fingers tracing my thigh under the blanket. We still can't keep our hands off each other. People say the spark dies after kids, but for us, it's like the flame just burns quieter, deeper. Some nights we barely make it upstairs before clothes start coming off. He'll whisper things in my ear that make me blush even after all these years. Dirty, sweet, perfect. I know how lucky I am. My friends are always complaining about their husbands, the snoring, the dad bods, the way passion just fizzles out. But not us. Mark still looks at me like I'm the college girl he spilled coffee on. He tells me I'm beautiful, even when I'm in yoga pants with my hair in a messy bun and spit up on my shoulder from Ben's earlier tantrum. We have date nights once a month, dinner downtown, maybe a show at the Chicago theater. Life is good, stable, predictable in the best way. But lately, I don't know, something's been stirring inside me. Turning 30 hit harder than I expected. One day I'm 25 and dreaming big, the next I'm staring at 32 in the mirror wondering if this is it. Don't get me wrong, I love being a mom. Ava's drawings taped all over the fridge, Ben's little arms around my neck saying, "I love you, Mommy." There's nothing better. But sometimes, in the quiet moments when the house is clean and the kids are napping, I catch myself daydreaming. What if I'd taken that job offer in New York after graduation? What if we'd traveled more before kids? What if life still had some wild cards left to play? My best friend, Sarah, she's single, lives in the city, dates guys who ride motorcycles and play in bands, and never settles down. She's got this effortless sex appeal, tight dresses, red lipstick, heels that could kill. When we talk on the phone, she teases me about my suburban mom life, but there's no judgment, just love. We hadn't seen each other in over a year, kids, work, distance, but we promised to change that. A couple weeks ago, she called out of the blue. "Em," she said, her voice bubbling with excitement, "I need a break from the city. It's eating me alive. I'm coming to visit next weekend. Don't say no. I already booked the flight." I screamed into the phone like we were teenagers again. The kids were going to lose their minds. Aunt Erica always brings the best presents and lets them stay up late watching Disney movies. Mark was thrilled too. He and Erica have always gotten along great. There's this easy, flirty banter between them that I've never minded. She calls him Big Bro, he calls her Trouble. It's harmless, fun, family. Little did I know, that visit was about to flip our perfect little world upside down. As I stood in the kitchen planning menus and tidying up the guest room, I had no idea how much was about to change, how one weekend, one tiny mix-up, one moment of mistaken identity would unravel everything I thought I knew about my marriage, my sister, and myself. But that's getting ahead of things. Right now, life still felt safe, comfortable, normal. The calm before the storm. Friday finally rolled around, and I was buzzing with excitement all day. The house smelled like lemon cleaner and fresh-baked chocolate chip cookies, Aunt Erica's favorites. I'd spent the morning scrubbing baseboards. Ridiculous, I know, but that's what you do when your glamorous twin sister is coming from New York, and the afternoon picking up toys and fluffing pillows in the guest room. Ava kept asking every 5 minutes, "Is Aunt Erica here yet?" while Ben ran around with a plastic airplane making engine noises. Mark texted me from the office around noon. "Can't wait to see her. Tell Trouble to save some energy for me." Winky face. I rolled my eyes and smiled. That was their thing, playful, harmless flirting that never bothered me. Erica could flirt with a lamppost and make it blush, and Mark just played along because it made everyone laugh. Her flight landed at O'Hare just after 4. I loaded the kids into the minivan. Yes, I'm officially a minivan mom now, and we battled rush hour traffic on I-290. By the time we pulled up to arrivals, Erica was already waiting curbside, looking like she'd stepped out of a magazine. Oversized sunglasses, black leather jacket over a silky white camisole, skinny jeans tucked into ankle boots, and that signature long blonde hair cascading in perfect waves. She had one designer suitcase and a massive tote bag stuffed with gifts. The second Ava spotted her, she unbuckled herself and started yelling, "Auntie E! Auntie E!" Erica dropped everything, opened her arms, and the kids launched themselves at her like little missiles. She scooped them both up, one on each hip, and spun them around, laughing that big, infectious laugh that always filled a room. "Oh my God, look at you two! You've grown so much. Ava, you're practically a teenager, and Ben, baby Ben, is a whole little man now." She smothered them in kisses, then set them down and pulled me into a hug that felt like coming home. "Em," she whispered into my hair, "I missed you so much." She smelled like vanilla and city, expensive perfume mixed with that faint subway scent that clings to New Yorkers no matter how many times they shower. We loaded her bags into the back and headed home, the kids chattering nonstop in the back seat, while Erica passed back little presents, a glittery art kit for Ava, a dinosaur book with pop-ups for Ben, and for me, a bottle of my favorite perfume she'd somehow remembered I was almost out of. "You're too good to me," I said, glancing at her in the rearview mirror. "Please," she waved me off. "You're letting me crash your perfect suburban paradise for a whole week. It's the least I can do." By the time we pulled into the driveway, the sun was dipping low, painting the sky orange and pink over the rooftops. The kids dragged Erica straight to the backyard to show her the swing set Mark had built last summer. I followed with her bags, watching them run around on the grass. Erica kicked off her boots, rolled up her jeans, and pushed them on the swings, her laughter mixing with theirs. For a moment, everything felt perfect, my two worlds colliding in the best way. Mark got home a little after 7. I was in the kitchen starting dinner, grilled salmon, asparagus, and that orzo salad Erica and I used to make in college. The kids were upstairs washing up, or pretending to, and Erica had slipped out back to take a work call. I heard the front door open and Mark's familiar, "Honey, I'm home," half joking, half serious, like he'd been saying since we moved in. He dropped his laptop bag by the door, loosened his tie, and walked straight towards me at the stove. I was facing the counter, stirring the orzo, hair twisted up in a clip, the usual mom uniform of leggings and an oversized sweater. Mark came up behind me, slid his arms around my waist, and buried his face in my neck. "God, you smell good," he murmured, his voice low and a little rough from the day. His hand slipped under the hem of my sweater, warm against my skin. "Kids finally down? Because I've been thinking about you all day." I laughed softly, leaning back into him. "Mark, relax. They're upstairs, but Erica's—" He cut me off with a kiss just below my ear, the kind that still made my knees weak. "Erica can wait 5 minutes," he whispered, pressing himself closer. One hand started drifting higher, brushing the lace edge of my bra. We hadn't had a proper quickie in weeks, and he was clearly in the mood. I turned in his arms to kiss him properly, tasting coffee and the mint gum he chews on the train ride home. That's when the back door slid open. Erica stepped in, phone still in hand, and froze. "Whoa," she said, grinning huge. "Should I come back in 10 minutes, or—" Mark pulled away fast, but not before his hands had to do a quick retreat from under my clothes. His face went pink, adorably pink. "Erica, shit, sorry, I didn't hear you come in." He stepped forward and gave her a quick brotherly hug. "Good to see you, Trouble. How was the flight?" She hugged him back, laughing. Long, but worth it. And clearly I'm interrupting some serious married people business. Don't stop on my account. I swatted her with the dish towel. "You're awful. Go wash up. Dinner's almost ready." Dinner was exactly what I'd hoped for. Loud, chaotic, perfect. The kids dominated the conversation. Ava showing off her latest drawings, Ben demonstrating his T-Rex roar. Mark opened a bottle of Pinot Grigio, and we passed the evening trading stories. Erica told us about her latest PR disaster, a celebrity client who got caught shoplifting in Soho, and Mark countered with a tale about a difficult client who wanted a house shaped like a giant sailboat. We laughed until my sides hurt, the kind of easy laughter that only happens when you're with people who really know you. After the kids finally crashed, Erica read them 3 extra stories because she's a pushover. We opened a second bottle and moved to the living room. Mark stretched out on the couch, feet on the coffee table, while Erica and I curled up in the armchairs. We talked about everything and nothing. Work, the kids, New York versus Chicago winters. Around 11, Mark started nodding off during a Cubs replay on TV. "I'm out," he mumbled, kissing me on the forehead. "Long week. You two catch up. Love you, babe." "Love you too," I said, watching him head upstairs. Erica and I stayed up until almost 2, whispering on the patio under the string lights, wine glasses in hand. She told me about her latest almost relationship, a photographer who was amazing in bed but allergic to commitment, and I told her about my quiet restlessness, the way I sometimes felt like life was passing me by in yoga pants and carpools. "You're not old, Em. You're 32. You're hot. You have a husband who still grabs your ass the second he walks in the door. Some of us would kill for that." I laughed, but her words stuck. Mark did still want me. We still had fire. So why did I feel like something was missing? Eventually, we called it a night. Erica hugged me tight at the top of the stairs. "Thanks for letting me invade your perfect life, sis. I needed this." "Anytime," I whispered back. "You're always welcome." As I slipped into bed beside Mark, who was already snoring softly, I had no idea that in less than 12 hours, everything would start to shift. One innocent weekend, one small mistake, one small switch that would change us forever. Saturday morning hit like any other weekend in our house. Sunlight streaming through the kitchen windows, the smell of fresh coffee brewing, and the distant sound of cartoons drifting down from upstairs. I was up first, as usual. Mark had crashed hard after his long week, and Erica was probably still sleeping off the jet lag and late-night wine. I slipped into my favorite comfy robe, the soft gray one that's a little too big, perfect for lazy mornings, and padded downstairs in my slippers. Pancakes sounded perfect. The kids would be down any minute demanding chocolate chip ones, Mommy. So I pulled out the mix, cracked eggs, and started heating the griddle. The house felt peaceful. I scrolled through my phone while the batter rested, liking a few friends' Instagram posts, someone's new baby, someone else's vacation in Florida, normal stuff. I texted Sarah a quick update. "Erica's here, already chaos in the best way." She fired back a string of heart emojis and, "Tell her I say hi, you lucky bitch." I smiled. Yeah, I was lucky. Erica came down around 8:30, hair tousled in that sexy bedhead way she somehow pulls off, wearing one of my spare robes, the light blue satin one I hardly ever use because it's too fancy for every day. We look so much alike that borrowing each other's clothes has always been second nature. She poured herself a mug of coffee, added a splash of the vanilla creamer I keep just for her, and slid onto a stool at the island. "Morning, twin," she whispered, voice still husky from sleep. God, I forgot how quiet it is here. No sirens, no neighbors screaming at 3 a.m. This is heaven. I laughed quietly. Give it an hour, Ben's T-Rex roar will shatter the peace. We chatted softly about nothing important. Her work drama, my latest graphic design client who kept changing their mind about colors. It felt like we were 20 again, sharing an apartment off campus, whispering so we wouldn't wake roommates. Then I heard footsteps on the stairs. Heavy, familiar. Mark. He shuffled in wearing nothing but his gray boxer briefs and a faded Illinois t-shirt, hair sticking up in every direction, eyes half closed. Classic Saturday Mark. Zero urgency, all sleepy sexiness. He didn't even glance around the room properly, just yawned, scratched his stomach, and made a beeline for the figure at the island with long blonde hair and the blue satin robe. From behind, in the soft morning light filtering through the blinds, it was an easy mistake. Same height, same hair, same everything. He slid up behind Erica, wrapped his strong arms around her waist, and dropped his chin onto her shoulder. "Morning, gorgeous," he murmured, voice low and gravelly. His hands moved on pure muscle memory, one sliding up to cup her breast through the thin satin, the other dipping lower, fingers tracing the tie of the robe like he was about to undo it. "Come back to bed with me. 5 more minutes." Erica went completely still. For half a second, I thought she might yelp or jump away. Instead, a tiny surprised laugh escaped her. Soft, almost breathy. "Mark?" He nuzzled her neck, lips brushing skin, completely oblivious. That's when his thumb grazed over her nipple, slow and deliberate, the way he does to me when he's trying to coax me back under the covers. Erica's breath hitched. She didn't pull away. Not right away. I was frozen at the stove, spatula mid-air, batter butter starting to smoke. My heart slammed against my ribs. "Mark?" I finally managed, voice sharper than I meant. That's when he froze too. His head snapped up, eyes blinking into focus. He looked down at the woman in his arms, saw Erica's face turn toward him, green eyes wide, lips parted in shock, and something else I couldn't name. "Oh shit," he whispered, hands dropping like he'd touched fire. He stepped back so fast he almost tripped over his own feet. "Erica? Jesus, Emily, I thought, oh my God, I'm so sorry." Erica twisted around on the stool, clutching the robe closed, but she was laughing now, full, uncontrollable giggles that made her shoulders shake. "Holy crap, Mark, you really went for it, huh? Handsy much?" Mark's face was beet red, ears included. He ran both hands through his hair, looking like he wanted the floor to swallow him. "I swear I thought it was M. You two look identical from behind. Same hair, same robe, same everything. I was half asleep. Babe, I'm sorry. Erica, I'm so sorry." I finally found my voice. "Mark, what the hell?" It came out angrier than I felt, because underneath the shock, something else was buzzing. Jealousy, yes, but also this weird heat in my stomach. Seeing his hands on her like that, on my body but not my body, it was confusing as hell. Erica wiped her eyes, still laughing. "Relax, you two. Honest mistake. I mean, we are identical, and damn, Mark, you don't hold back in the mornings, do you?" She shot me a playful wink. "No wonder my sister's always smiling." Mark groaned, covering his face. "Can we never speak of this again? Please?" The kids chose that exact moment to thunder downstairs, Ava yelling about pancakes, and Ben roaring like a dinosaur. Perfect timing. The awkwardness shattered as we all jumped into parent/aunt mode, flipping pancakes, pouring orange juice, cutting up fruit. Mark couldn't meet my eyes at first, busying himself with setting the table. Erica kept sneaking glances at him, that little smirk never quite leaving her lips. Breakfast was weird. Surface level normal, kids dominating the conversation, syrup everywhere, but underneath, the air felt charged. Mark sat next to me, his thigh pressed against mine under the table, like he was apologizing with touch.
every time he passed me the butter or refilled my coffee, his fingers lingered a second longer than usual. Erica, on the other hand, was in full tease mode. "So, Mark," she said casually, cutting Ben's pancake into dinosaur shapes, "do you greet all your house guests that way, or am I special?" Mark choked on his coffee. "Erica, come on." She grinned. "I'm just saying, maybe check for tattoos. Em has that little star on her hip, remember? I don't." I kicked her under the table, but I was fighting a smile. The kids were oblivious, thank God. The rest of the morning passed in a blur of playground time and errands. Mark took the kids to the park to give Erica and me sister time, but I caught him watching her when she bent over to tie Ava's shoe. Quick glances he thought no one noticed. And Erica, she was extra touchy-feely, brushing his arm when she laughed, leaning close when she showed him something on her phone. By afternoon, I told myself it was nothing, a funny story we'd laugh about later, an innocent mix-up. But deep down, something had shifted, a tiny crack in the perfect picture I'd been living in. And as the day went on, that crack started to spread. I had no idea how far it would go.
After that insane morning mix-up, the rest of Saturday felt like walking on a tightrope. One wrong step and everything could tip. We powered through like any normal family. Mark took the kids to the local farmer's market for fresh donuts and apple cider, while Eric and I stayed behind to relax. Really, we just needed space to process. I was loading the dishwasher when Erica leaned against the counter, sipping her second coffee. "Okay, sis," she said, eyes sparkling with mischief. "Your husband is handsy as hell. I mean, damn, I need to get myself a Midwestern architect." I threw a dish towel at her. "Shut up, it was an accident." "Accident?" She raised an eyebrow. "He didn't just hug me, Em. He full-on groped me like he was trying to win a prize, and he knew exactly where to touch. You weren't exaggerating about the spark still being there." Heat crept up my neck. "Erica!" "What? I'm complimenting you. Or him. Both of you." She grinned, then her face softened. "Seriously, though, are you okay? I'd be pissed if some guy grabbed me thinking it was you." I paused, sponge in hand. Was I pissed? Part of me was. Jealousy had flared hot and fast when I saw his hands on her body, my body, sliding under that robe. But another part, God, I hated admitting it, even to myself. Another part had been turned on, watching Mark in that half-asleep, primal state, wanting so badly he didn't even look first. It was raw, animal, and seeing it directed at Erica, at someone who looked exactly like me, felt like watching a version of myself through a mirror. "I'm fine," I finally said. Embarrassed for him, mostly. He's probably dying inside. Erica snorted. "He should be, but also kinda hot." She winked and dodged my swat. When Mark got back with the kids, arms full of pumpkins and bags of kettle corn, he was overly attentive, helped unload groceries without being asked, kissed my cheek every time he passed me, kept finding excuses to touch my arm or back, like he was proving something, to me, to himself, maybe to both of us. The day dragged on in that strange new atmosphere. We took the kids to the park, pushed them on swings, played tag on the grass. Surface level, everything looked perfect. Laughing, sunshine, fall leaves crunching underfoot. But underneath, the glances were different. Mark's eyes lingered on Erica when she ran after Ben, her ponytail swinging, leggings hugging her curves. And Erica, she knew it. She'd bend over a little slower to pick up a toy or stretch her arms overhead in a way that pulled her sweater tight. Subtle, but not subtle enough. By late afternoon, the kids were wiped out from fresh air and sugar. We got them down for naps. Ava conked out on the couch mid-coloring book, Ben in his toddler bed surrounded by stuffed dinosaurs. The house went quiet again. Too quiet. Mark disappeared into his home office to catch up on emails, but I knew better. He was hiding. Erica flopped onto the living room couch, scrolling through her phone. I poured 3 glasses of wine, even though it was barely 4 o'clock, and carried them in. "Here," I said, handing one to Erica and setting Mark's on his desk. He looked up, grateful and guilty all at once. "Thanks, babe." He pulled me onto his lap for a second, arms tight around my waist, like he was anchoring himself. "I'm really sorry about this morning. I feel like an idiot." I kissed his forehead. "It's forgotten. We're good." But were we? Dinner was takeout pizza, lazy Saturday tradition. Kids ate in front of a movie, our one screen time guilt pass of the weekend, and the three of us adults sat at the kitchen table with a bottle of red. Conversation flowed easier with the alcohol. Work, old college stories, Erica's latest dating disasters. Mark relaxed a little, laughing at Erica's impression of her boss. But every time Erica leaned forward to grab another slice, her tank top dipped just enough, and I caught Mark's eyes flick down, quick, then away, like he couldn't help it. When the kids were finally tucked in for the night, 3 stories and 2 glasses of water later, we migrated to the living room. Mark built a fire in the fireplace, one of the reasons we bought this house, and the room glowed warm and orange. Erica kicked off her socks and curled her feet under her on the couch. I sat in the armchair, Mark sprawled on the floor, leaning against my legs. We were 2 bottles in when Erica's eyes lit up. "You know what we haven't done in forever?" she said. "Truth or dare, like back in the dorms. Come on, it'll be hilarious." I groaned. "We're not 21 anymore." "Exactly," she said, "which makes it even better. Loosen up, Em. 1 round." Mark chuckled, tipping his glass toward her. "I'm in. Someone's got to keep trouble in check." Erica clapped. "Yes, Mark's in. You're outnumbered, sis." I rolled my eyes, but couldn't fight the smile. "Fine, but nothing crazy. Kids are asleep upstairs." It started innocent enough. Truth. "What's the most embarrassing thing that happened to you at work?" Mark told a story about accidentally calling a client mom on a conference call. Erica admitted to spilling coffee on a celebrity at a launch party. Dare, text your boss something ridiculous. I sent my client a string of random emojis. We were laughing so hard, tears ran down our faces. Then Erica turned to Mark, eyes gleaming. "Your turn, big guy. Truth or dare?" He smirked, feeling bold from the wine. "Dare." Erica didn't even hesitate. "Kiss the twin on your left." I froze. Mark's left was Erica. I was on his right, legs still draped over his shoulder from where he leaned against my chair. The room went silent, except for the crackle of the fire. Mark looked up at me, eyebrows raised, checking, asking permission without words. I swallowed. My heart was pounding. Part of me wanted to laugh it off, say no, change the dare, but another part, the restless part that had been whispering lately, was curious. What would it feel like? Just a stupid game, just a peck. "It's fine," I heard myself say, voice steadier than I felt. "It's just a dare." Mark hesitated another second, then shifted on the carpet. Erica leaned forward, playful smile in place, but her eyes were locked on his, serious. He leaned in slow, aiming for her cheek. At the last possible moment, Erica turned her head, just a fraction, and his lips landed on hers. It was supposed to be quick, a second, maybe? But it wasn't. For 3 full heartbeats, they stayed there, lips pressed, not moving, not deepening, just connected. I saw Mark's hand lift almost like he was going to touch her face, then drop back to the floor. Then he pulled away. The air in the room felt thick, heavy. Erica licked her lips, slow. "Well," she said, softly, "that escalated." Mark cleared his throat, face flushed, not just from the wine. "Game over?" No one answered. I stared at them both, pulse racing, skin hot. Jealousy twisted in my gut again, sharper this time. But beneath it, God help me, was something darker, something that made me press my thighs together under the blanket. The fire popped. No one moved. That kiss was supposed to be nothing, but it changed everything. After that dare, the living room felt different. Smaller. Warmer. The fire had died down to glowing embers, but none of us moved to add another log. Mark stayed on the floor, back against my chair, his hand resting on my ankle like he needed the contact to ground himself. Erica sat cross-legged on the couch, wine glass dangling from her fingers, staring at the carpet like she was replaying the kiss in her head. I couldn't look away from either of them. Nobody said anything for what felt like forever. Finally, Mark cleared his throat. "Okay, maybe we've had enough truth or dare for one night." Erica let out a soft laugh, but it wasn't her usual bright one. It was lower, huskier. "Yeah, probably smart." I should have agreed, should have stood up, said goodnight, and gone to bed. That would have been the responsible thing, the Emily thing to do. But I didn't move. My skin was buzzing, my pulse loud in my ears. I kept thinking about how Mark's lips had looked on hers, how for a split second he hadn't pulled away, how Erica hadn't either. "You guys want another drink?" I asked, voice barely above a whisper. It was a dumb question, we were all past our limit, but it gave me something to do. I stood up, legs shaky, and headed to the kitchen. The cool air out there helped a little. I gripped the counter, took a deep breath, and poured 3 more glasses out of habit. When I came back, cinematography lighting from the hallway spilled across the room. Mark had moved to the couch, sitting at the opposite end from Erica, a careful distance between them. I handed them their glasses and curled up in the armchair again, pulling a throw blanket over my lap even though I wasn't cold. "Thanks, babe," Mark said quietly. His eyes met mine, searching, worried, maybe a little excited. I could see the question there. Are we okay? I nodded once. We were. Or we would be. I didn't know yet. Erica took a slow sip, then set her glass down. "So that was interesting." Mark rubbed the back of his neck. "Yeah, sorry, got carried away with the dare." "Don't apologize to me," Erica said, glancing my way. "It's Em you should be worried about." He turned to me fully. "Em, I swear it was just—" "It's okay," I cut in. My voice sounded steadier than I felt. "It was a game, a stupid kiss. We're fine." But were we? The words felt hollow even as I said them. The conversation limped along after that. Safe topics like the kids' school play, Mark's upcoming project deadline, Erica's flight back next week, but the undercurrent was electric. Every laugh felt forced. Every silence stretched too long. Around 1 in the morning, I couldn't sit still anymore. My body was wired, thoughts racing. "I'm gonna get some water," I mumbled, standing up again. This time, I didn't head to the kitchen. I slipped into the half bath off the hallway, closed the door, and stared at myself in the mirror. My cheeks were flushed, eyes bright. I looked alive, more alive than I had in months. What the hell was wrong with me? My husband had just kissed my sister, technically on a dare, but still, and instead of being furious, I was turned on, confused, curious. I splashed cold water on my face, took a few deep breaths, and went back out. The living room was dimmer now. Someone had turned off the lamp. Only the glow from the dying fire and the hallway light remained. Mark was still on the couch, but Erica had shifted closer, not touching, but close enough that their knees were almost brushing. They were talking softly. I couldn't hear the words at first. As I stepped into the room, Erica looked up and smiled, small, knowing. "Well, we were just saying we should probably call it a night." "Yeah," Mark agreed, but he didn't move. I don't know what possessed me. Maybe the wine, maybe the restlessness I'd been carrying for months, maybe the sight of them sitting there, tension crackling between them like static. I crossed the room and sat on the couch between them. Not in the armchair, between them. Mark's eyes widened slightly. Erica's lips parted in surprise. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then I reached for the remote and turned on the TV, some late-night rerun of Friends, volume low. Mindless noise to fill the silence. I pulled the blanket over all 3 of us, like we were just having a casual sleepover. Under the blanket, my hand found Mark's thigh, familiar, safe. He covered my hand with his, squeezing gently. On my other side, Erica shifted. Her bare foot brushed mine. Accidental, maybe, or not. We sat like that for 20 minutes, pretending to watch the show. Laugh tracks filled the quiet. But under the blanket, things were happening. Mark's thumb traced slow circles on my wrist. Erica's pinky finger grazed my knee, then stayed there. I should have stopped it, should have laughed it off and gone to bed. Instead, I turned my head toward Mark and kissed him. Soft first, then deeper. He responded immediately, hand sliding up to cup my face, pulling me closer. It was our kiss, familiar, hungry, but with an edge tonight, like he was proving something. When we broke apart, both breathing harder, I felt Erica watching us. The room was so quiet I could hear my own heartbeat. Then, slowly, I turned to her. Our eyes locked, green on green. Same face, same everything. I don't know who moved first, maybe me, maybe her, but suddenly we were kissing. Soft, hesitant, then not hesitant at all. Her lips were mine, but different, fuller than the lipstick she always wore, tasting like the Pinot we'd been drinking. My hand found her hair, threading through strands identical to my own. She made a small sound in her throat, leaning into me. When we pulled apart, both of us were breathing fast. Mark hadn't moved, hadn't said a word, but when I looked at him, his eyes were dark, fixed on us. Not angry, not shocked. Hungry. He started, voice rough. I reached for his hand under the blanket. Then I reached for Erica's, and I pulled them both closer. The TV droned on, forgotten. The fire popped softly. One small switch, me sitting between them, that first kiss with my sister, flipped everything. We didn't go further that night. Not really. Just kisses, touches, exploration in the dark, clothes staying on, boundaries blurring but not breaking, hands wandering, breaths mingling, the three of us tangled under that blanket like we'd done this 100 times. But we hadn't. When we finally pulled apart, cheeks flushed, hearts racing, Erica was the first to speak. "Well, that happened," she whispered, a shaky laugh escaping. Mark looked at me, searching my face. "You okay?" I nodded, couldn't speak yet. We didn't talk about it then. We just turned off the TV, folded the blanket, and went upstairs. Erica to the guest room, Mark and I to ours. But as I lay in bed that night, Mark's arm heavy around my waist, his breathing slow and even, I stared at the ceiling. Everything felt different. One small switch, and there was no going back. I don't think any of us slept much that night. Mark tossed and turned beside me, his arm draped over my waist like he was afraid I'd slip away if he let go. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw it again. My lips on Erica's, her soft exhale against my mouth, Mark's dark eyes watching us like he couldn't decide whether to stop it or join in. My body was exhausted, but my mind wouldn't shut off. Around 4 a.m., I heard the guest room door creak open and soft footsteps pad down the hallway. Erica, heading to the bathroom, probably. Or maybe she couldn't sleep either. By 7, the kids were up, Ben's little feet thumping overhead, Ava yelling for cereal. Normal life crashed back in like it always does. I threw on yoga pants and a hoodie, splashed water on my face to hide the evidence of a sleepless night, and headed downstairs. Erica was already in the kitchen, pouring coffee like nothing had happened. She looked fresh, makeup light, hair in a loose braid. How does she do that after 4 hours of sleep? "Morning," she said softly, sliding a mug toward me. Her eyes searched mine. "You okay?" I nodded, taking the coffee like a lifeline. "Yeah, you?" "Define okay." She gave a half laugh, then glanced toward the stairs as Mark came down with Ben on his hip and Ava trailing behind. "Morning, family," he said, voice a little too bright. He set Ben in his booster seat and ruffled Ava's hair, avoiding both our gazes at first. When he finally looked at me, there was so much in his eyes. Guilt, confusion, heat. He crossed the kitchen and kissed the top of my head, lingering longer than usual. "Sleep okay?" I lied. We moved through breakfast on autopilot. Frozen waffles, cut-up strawberries, orange juice spills. The kids filled the silence with chatter about cartoons and what they wanted to do today. Mark took them to the living room to build a Lego fortress, giving Erica and me a moment alone to clean up. The second they were out of earshot, Erica leaned against the counter. "We need to talk about last night." "I know." She bit her lip, the same way I do when I'm nervous. "I didn't plan that, Em. Any of it. The kiss during the dare, then everything after. It just happened." "I was there," I said, scrubbing a plate harder than necessary. "I started it, the second kiss, with you." She went quiet. "Do you regret it?" I set the plate down and finally looked at her. Really looked. My twin, my mirror, the person who knew me better than anyone. I don't know. Part of me feels like I cheated. Part of me doesn't. Erica exhaled slowly. "Same. And Mark? He's freaking out, I can tell." We didn't get to finish. Mark came back in for more coffee, kids' voices echoing behind him. The day dragged on in this weird limbo. Playground, lunch, naps. We were all polite, careful, like we were handling something fragile that might shatter. By late afternoon, the kids were down for their second nap. Thank God for weekend exhaustion, and the three of us ended up on the back patio with a bottle of Cabernet. The air was crisp, fall leaves swirling in the breeze. No one spoke first. We just sat there, me on the love seat, Mark beside me, Erica in the chair across. Finally, Mark broke the silence. We can't pretend last night didn't happen. Erica nodded. No, we can't. He ran a hand through his hair, looking out at the yard. I don't even know where to start. I feel like the world's biggest asshole. First, the mix-up yesterday morning, then the dare, then... He glanced at me. I never meant to cross any lines, with either of you. I believe you, I said quietly. Erica leaned forward, elbows on her knees. It wasn't just you, Mark. I didn't stop anything. Hell, I leaned into it. We all went quiet again. Then I asked the question that had been burning in me all day. Did it feel wrong to either of you? In the moment, they both looked at me. Mark spoke first. No, that's what scares me. It felt intense, different, but not wrong. Erica nodded slowly. Same. I've always thought you were hot, Em. Come on, we're identical. It's basically narcissism. She tried to joke, but it fell flat. And Mark, you're a good guy. Hot, treat my sister like gold. What's not to crush on? I stared at her. Why didn't you ever say anything? Because you're married, to him, with kids. It was fantasy, harmless, until it wasn't. Mark turned to me, taking my hand. Babe, I love you. Only you. Last night didn't change that, but I'd be lying if I didn't feel something when it was happening. The confusion of not knowing who was who sometimes, the newness, it was exciting, and yeah, maybe a little forbidden. I swallowed hard. I felt it too, all of it. Watching you two during the dare, it made me jealous, but also I trailed off, cheeks burning. Erica finished for me. Turned on? Yeah, I whispered. Mark squeezed my hand. We've talked about fantasies before, threesomes, bringing someone else in, but it was always hypothetical. Some porn we watched, pillow talk, never real. I know, I said. Erica's voice was soft. And now the someone else is me, your wife's identical twin. That's complicated. We all laughed then, nervous, real laughter that broke some of the tension. Mark looked at both of us. So what do we do with this? Pretend it never happened? Chalk it up to too much wine and a weird weekend? Could we just forget? Erica met my eyes. Do you want to? I thought about it. Really thought. About the restlessness I'd been feeling for months. About how alive I felt last night. Heart racing, skin on fire. About how close I felt to both of them in that moment under the blanket. No, I said finally. I don't think I do. Mark exhaled like he'd been holding his breath. Me neither. Erica smiled, small, tentative. Then what are we saying? We didn't have an answer, not a clear one, but as the sun dipped lower, painting the sky pink and orange, we kept talking, really talking, about boundaries, feelings, fears, about how this could destroy everything or make it deeper. We admitted things we'd never said out loud. Mark's curiosity, Erica's long-held attraction, my own desire to feel wanted in a new way. By the time the kids woke up, crying for snacks, we'd made one decision. We're not shutting this down. Not yet. We'd see where it led. Carefully. Secretly. Together. As I stood up to go inside, Mark pulled me back for a kiss. Deep, possessive. Then, surprising us both, he leaned over and kissed Erica too. Soft, quick, but real. She touched her lips after, eyes wide. I didn't feel jealous this time. I felt hungry. The confession was out, and whatever came next, we were in it now. No going back.
That night, after the confessions on the patio, everything felt like it was balanced on a knife's edge. The kids were finally down. Ben had fought bedtime like a tiny warrior, demanding one more dinosaur story, and Ava wanted her nightlight adjusted 3 times. By the time Mark and I closed their doors, it was past 9. Erica was in the living room, dim lights on, another bottle of wine open. She'd changed into soft lounge shorts and a tank top. Casual, but the kind of casual that looked effortlessly sexy on her. I noticed Mark notice. We didn't sit in our usual spots. Instead, we all ended up on the big sectional couch, closer than before. No one said it out loud, but we knew why we were there. The air was thick with unspoken agreement. We weren't done talking, or whatever this was becoming. Mark poured us each a glass and settled between us, me on his left, Erica on his right. The TV was off. The only sound was the low hum of the fridge and the occasional creak of the house settling. He took a long drink, then set his glass down. "So," he said, voice low, "we're really doing this?" Erica glanced at me. "Are we?" I felt my heart hammering against my ribs. This was the moment. We could laugh it off, blame the wine, go back to normal, or we could step over the line we'd been towing all weekend. I reached for Mark's hand, then for Erica's. "I think we are." That was all it took. Mark turned to me first, cupping my face and kissing me deep, slow, deliberate, like he was reminding himself who I was, his wife, his Emily. I melted into it, my hands sliding under his t-shirt, feeling the familiar warmth of his skin. When we broke apart, both breathing harder, he turned to Erica. She didn't wait. She leaned in, meeting him halfway. Watching them kiss, really watching this time, no blanket, no darkness, was something I'll never forget. His hand on her jaw, her fingers threading through his hair. It wasn't a dare anymore. It wasn't an accident. It was intentional. And God help me, it was hot. When they pulled apart, Erica's eyes found mine. "Em?" I didn't let her finish. I kissed her. It was different from last night, less tentative, more urgent. Her lips parted under mine, and I felt her hand slide up my thigh. Mark watched us, his breath coming faster. Then he moved closer, his mouth on my neck, then hers. Hands started wandering. My tank top came off first, Mark's doing, then Erica's. Bras followed. We were a tangle of limbs and whispers and soft gasps. We didn't go all the way that night, not completely, but we crossed every other line. Mark's mouth on my breasts, then on Erica's, tasting us both, comparing without words. My hands exploring her body, so familiar and yet brand new. Erica's fingers between my legs, knowing exactly where to touch, because she knew my body like her own. Mark groaning as we both touched him, taking turns, kissing him, stroking him. It was slow, intense, overwhelming. At one point, Mark had me on his lap, kissing me deeply, while Erica kissed my neck from behind, her hands sliding around to tease my nipples. Then they switched. Erica in his lap, me behind her, my lips on her shoulder as he touched her the way he touches me. The sounds she made, they were my sounds, but hearing them from her mouth while Mark's eyes locked on mine, it pushed me over the edge. I came first, shaking against Erica's fingers, Mark's name on my lips. Then Erica, trembling between us as Mark and I worked together to unravel her. Finally, Mark, head thrown back, both our hands on him, our mouths on his neck and chest. Afterward, we collapsed in a heap, sweaty, breathless, laughing softly in disbelief. The couch felt too small for what we'd just done. "Holy shit," Mark muttered, pulling us both closer. That was, yeah, it really was. I couldn't speak yet. My mind was spinning. Guilt flickered at the edges. Whispers of, "What are we doing?" and "This is insane." But it was drowned out by the afterglow, by how right it felt, how connected. We cleaned up quietly, stealing kisses in the hallway like teenagers. Erica went to the guest room, but not before kissing us both goodnight. Long, lingering kisses that promised more. Mark and I slipped into our bed, his arms wrapping around me from behind. "You okay, babe?" he whispered in my hair. I nodded, pressing back against him. More than okay. He kissed my shoulder. "I love you. This doesn't change that." "I know. I love you too." But as I drifted off, I couldn't stop thinking about how it did change things. Everything. The next morning, Sunday, we were careful around the kids. Pancakes, cartoons, packing for Erica's flight later that week. But the glances were different, charged.
When the kids were distracted, Mark pulled me into the laundry room for a quick, desperate kiss. Later, Erica cornered me in the bathroom, pressing me against the door and kissing me until my knees went weak. That night, after the kids were asleep, we didn't even pretend to watch TV. We went straight to the bedroom, our bedroom, the three of us. This time, there were no half measures. Clothes came off fast, hands everywhere, mouths everywhere. Mark inside me first, slow and deep, while I tasted Erica, something I'd never imagined doing, but God, it felt natural. Then switching, Mark with Erica while I kissed her, touched her, watched his face as he moved inside someone who looked exactly like me. The thrill of it, the visual, the emotional, pushed us all higher. We took turns, explored every combination. Mark behind me while I went down on Erica, Erica's strap-on, she'd brought it just in case, she admitted later with a grin. All three of us tangled together, moving as one. It was messy, loud, perfect. We collapsed sometime after 3 a.m., limbs intertwined, sheets wrecked. Mark in the middle, me on one side, Erica on the other. He kissed us both, sleepy and sated. "I can't believe this is real," he murmured. Erica traced lazy circles on his chest. "Me neither, but I don't want it to end." "I didn't either." Monday came too fast. Erica's flight was Tuesday morning. We spent the day stealing moments, quick touches in the kitchen, a heated makeout session in the garage when the kids napped. That night, we did it all again, slower this time, more emotional, like we were memorizing each other. When we finally fell asleep, I knew one thing for certain. This wasn't just a weekend fling. We'd crossed the line, and none of us wanted to go back.
Erica's flight left Tuesday morning. We all woke up early, too early, tangled in our king-sized bed, sheets twisted around us like evidence. The alarm on Mark's phone buzzed at 5:30, and for a second, none of us moved. I was in the middle, Mark's arm heavy across my waist, Erica's leg thrown over mine. It felt so natural, so right, that the thought of her leaving made my chest ache. "We don't have to get up yet," Mark mumbled into my hair, pulling me closer. His hand slid down my hip, possessive. Erica stirred, pressing a sleepy kiss to my shoulder. "I wish I could miss this flight," she whispered. We didn't speak much as we showered, separately because the kids would be up soon, and got dressed. Mark made coffee while I packed Erica's last-minute things. The goodbye at the airport curb was brutal. The kids hugged her legs, confused about why Aunt Erica couldn't stay forever. Mark loaded her suitcase, then pulled her into a hug that lasted too long for brother-in-law. When he let go, his eyes were glassy. I hugged her last, tight, like I was trying to memorize the feel of her. "Text me when you land," I said against her ear. "I will." She pulled back, green eyes locked on mine. "This isn't over, Em." "I know." Then she was gone, disappearing through the sliding doors, and the four of us drove home in silence. The house felt empty without her, too quiet. The guest room still smelled like her perfume, something expensive and floral. That night, Mark and I put the kids to bed and stood in the kitchen staring at each other. "It feels weird," I said finally. "Yeah," he stepped closer, hands on my hips. "Come here." We had sex right there on the kitchen island, fast, desperate, like we were trying to fill the space she'd left. It was good, always good with Mark, but different. Halfway through, he whispered, "Close your eyes." And when I did, I pictured her. I think he did too. We didn't say it out loud. The days blurred after that. Work, school drop-offs, soccer practice, freelance deadlines, normal suburban life. But everything was tinted now. Colors brighter, touches lingering. Mark would grab me in the hallway when the kids weren't looking, push me against the wall, and kiss me until I couldn't breathe. We'd sneak quickies during nap time, in the shower, once in the garage while the washer was running to drown out the sound. And we texted Erica, constantly. It started innocent. "How was your flight? Miss you guys." Then it turned filthy. Group chat screenshots of body parts, voice notes that made me blush in the pickup line at school, late night video calls where we'd watch each other, all three screens glowing in the dark.
Erica extended her next trip, said she had vacation days to burn. She flew in 2 weeks later on a Friday night, and the second the kids were asleep, we didn't even make it upstairs. Clothes off in the living room, bodies crashing together like we'd been starving. That weekend set the pattern. She started coming every other weekend, sometimes once a month when work got crazy. We'd tell the kids Aunt Erica just really missed them, which was true, and they loved it. Extra playtime, presents, ice cream for dinner when Mommy and Daddy were tired. But the nights were ours. We got bolder. Toys came out, vibrators, cuffs, things I'd only ever seen online. We'd blindfold Mark sometimes, make him guess who was touching him, who was kissing him. The thrill of it, the not knowing, drove him wild, drove all of us wild. One night, Erica and I dressed identical, same lingerie, same hairstyle, no makeup difference. We turned off all the lights except one lamp and took turns with him on the bed. He'd groan, hands searching, trying to figure out whose mouth was on him, whose body he was inside. When he got it wrong, we'd laugh and switch again. It wasn't just sex, though. That's the part that surprised me most. We'd stay up late talking, really talking, about fears, insecurities, what this meant. Erica admitted she'd never felt this connected to anyone, not even past boyfriends. Mark said he'd never been happier, that he felt like he was living in color after years of grayscale. I confessed that the restlessness I had carried for so long was gone, replaced by something deeper, fuller. We set rules, of course, no falling in love outside the marriage, though honestly, lines were blurry. No telling anyone ever. The kids came first, always, and if anyone wanted out, we stopped, no questions. But no one wanted out. Summer came. Erica rented a little studio apartment in Chicago for work, but really it was a place to crash midweek if she flew in early. Some weeks she'd show up on a Wednesday, work remotely from our house on Thursday and Friday, then stay through the weekend. Mark started taking long lunches downtown to meet her. I'd get texts during the day, photos, videos, things that made me lock the bathroom door at Ava's dance class and touch myself in a stall like some desperate teenager. We got careless once, almost. Erica was over for the 4th of July weekend. We'd had a backyard barbecue, neighbors, kids running through sprinklers, fireworks after dark, everyone gone by 10. The three of us were in the hot tub out back, wine drunk and handsy under the bubbles. Mark had me on his lap, moving slow inside me, when Erica kissed my neck. When we heard Ava's voice from the open window upstairs. "Mommy?" We froze. I climbed off Mark so fast I nearly slipped. Erica sank lower in the water, biting her lip to keep from laughing. I threw on a robe and ran inside, heart pounding, to find Ava half asleep, needing water. Crisis averted. After that, we were more careful. Locked doors, baby monitor on, no risks with the kids awake. By fall, it had been 6 months since that first mistaken grape in the kitchen. Erica's visits were routine. Our secret life was thriving. Mark and I were closer than ever. Sex between just us was hotter, fueled by memories, by anticipation of the next time she came. We'd role-play sometimes. I'd pretend to be her, call him from the guest room, make him come find me in the dark, or he'd blindfold me and bring her in without warning. I felt desired, wanted, alive. And Erica, she said she'd never been happier either. No more endless dating apps, no more empty hookups. She had us. We had her. People might call it wrong, complicated, taboo, but in our house, in our bed, it felt like the most honest thing we'd ever done. The aftermath wasn't destruction. It was rebirth. One small switch, and we'd built something new, something ours, and we weren't letting go.
It's been almost 2 years now since that one crazy weekend flipped our world upside down. 2 years of this double life we've built. Suburban perfection on the surface, something wild and electric underneath. People look at us and see the same old Emily and Mark Thompson, the nice couple down the street with the well-kept lawn, 2 adorable kids, and a golden retriever we finally adopted last spring. The kids named him Dino, naturally. We host block parties, coach Ava's soccer team, show up to PTA meetings with homemade cookies. Normal. Boring, even. But behind closed doors, we're anything but. Erica moved to Chicago permanently last year. Officially, it was for a big promotion, senior account director at her firm, downtown office, corner view of the lake. She got a sleek one-bedroom in River North, all glass walls and modern furniture, the kind of place that screams single city girl. But half her wardrobe is in our guest room closet, her favorite coffee mug lives in our kitchen cabinet, and her toothbrush never leaves our master bathroom. She's over 3 or 4 nights a week now. Sometimes she comes straight from work, still in her power heels and pencil skirt, and we'll have dinner like a regular family. Ava setting an extra plate without even being asked anymore. The kids adore her. They call her Auntie and fight over who gets to sit next to her. They have no idea that after they're tucked in, she slips into our bed and stays until morning. We've gotten good at the secrecy. Mastered it, really. Weekends are the best. If Erica has the kids overnight for a special aunt-niece/nephew sleepover at her apartment, which happens once a month, Mark and I would drive into the city, check into a hotel under fake names, and spend 24 hours doing things that would make our neighbors clutch their pearls. Role-playing as strangers who pick each other up at the bar, tying each other up with silk scarves we bought specifically for that purpose. Once, we even rented a suite with a mirror over the bed, just to watch ourselves, all 3 of us, from every angle. But most of the time, it's here, in our house, our bed. We've turned the basement into a playroom of sorts, soundproofed, Mark's idea after one too close call, with a lock on the door and a big sectional couch that pulls out into a bed. Blackout curtains, dim red lights, a drawer full of toys we've collected over the months. Vibrators, plugs, straps, cuffs, things I never imagined I'd own, let alone use regularly. And the switching? God, the switching never gets old. Erica and I still look exactly alike. Same haircut, we go to the same stylist now on purpose, same workout routine, we do virtual yoga classes together 3 times a week. We'll dress identical sometimes, same lingerie from the same online order, same perfume, and take turns with Mark in the dark. He'll close his eyes and guess whose mouth is on him, whose body he's sliding into. When he gets it wrong, we tease him mercilessly. When he gets it right, we reward him twice as hard. It's not just physical anymore. That's the thing no one warns you about. We're a unit, a threesome in every sense. Mark cooks dinner with both of us leaning on the counter, stealing bites from the spoon. Erica helps Ava with her science project while I fold laundry and Mark mows the lawn. We take family vacations, Disneyland last summer, all 5 of us in one big suite, the kids oblivious while the 3 adults sneak off to the balcony after bedtime for wine and whispered touches under the stars. We celebrate anniversaries 3 ways now. Our wedding anniversary, Mark and me, Erica's anniversary of moving to Chicago, and the weekend it all started, that first mistaken grope in the kitchen. We call it Switch Day. Last year, we rented a cabin up in Wisconsin, no kids, no interruptions, 3 days of nothing but each other. Of course, there are hard moments. Jealousy flares sometimes. Erica seeing Mark and me parent together in ways she never will. Me watching them laugh about some inside joke from a work lunch downtown. Mark worrying he's not giving either of us enough. We talk it out, always. Late nights on the patio with whiskey, being brutally honest until everything's on the table. It's messy sometimes, but we fix it. Because losing this? Unthinkable. We're careful. So careful. No social media posts that raise eyebrows. Erica's Instagram shows her as the fun single aunt. Photos with the kids, brunches with girlfriends, work events. Never anything that hints at more. Same with us. Our friends think Erica is just really close with her sister's family. Sarah, my best friend, jokes that we're sister wives without the cult, but she has no idea how close to the truth that is. We've had close calls. Once, Ava walked in on us in the basement. Thank God we heard her coming and threw blankets over everything in time. Another time, a neighbor dropped by unannounced while Erica was in the shower, and Mark had to stall at the door for 10 minutes while I snuck her clothes upstairs. But we manage. Sexually, we're insatiable. I swear we have more sex now than we did when we were newlyweds. Mark says having 2 of us keeps him perpetually turned on. Erica and I explore each other when he's at work sometimes, lazy afternoons in bed while the kids are at school, discovering new ways to make each other come. And when all 3 of us are together, it's explosive.
Last month, we tried something new. Mark blindfolded both of us, laid us side by side on the bed, and took his time, touching, tasting, teasing until we were begging, not knowing whose turn it was, whose body he was inside. It was maddening in the best way. We all came so hard, we had to change the sheets twice. People would judge, I know that. Family, friends, society, they'd call it cheating or sick or wrong. But it doesn't feel wrong. It feels like the truest thing we've ever done. Mark and I are stronger than ever, communication on a level most couples never reach. Erica says she's never felt more loved, more wanted. And me, that restlessness I carried for years is gone, replaced by this deep bone-level contentment. We're happy. Really, truly happy. This is our secret life. And as long as we have each other, we'll keep living it. One switch, one weekend, one choice. And it led us here. To this. Forever.
Looking back, it's hard to believe how far we've come. Here I am, Emily Thompson, 34 now, sitting on our back patio in Naperville on a crisp December evening, string lights twinkling overhead, a glass of Cabernet in my hand. The kids are inside, Ava's 10, Ben's 8, arguing over whose turn it is to pick the Christmas movie. Mark's in the kitchen making popcorn, humming along to some old Springsteen song on the speaker. Erica's curled up next to me under a shared blanket, her head on my shoulder, scrolling through vacation ideas on her phone. 3 years since that one small switch in the kitchen. 3 years since everything changed. And honestly, I've never been happier. People always say marriage gets stale after a decade, that kids suck the romance right out of you, that the spark fades and you're left with routine and resentment. For a while, I thought that might be true. I felt it creeping in, the restlessness, the wondering if this perfect suburban life was all there was. But then Erica showed up that weekend, and one mistaken grope turned into the best thing that ever happened to us. We're still us, still the Thompsons. Mark's firm is thriving. He made partner last year. I'm doing more graphic design work than ever, even took on a few big clients downtown. The kids are growing like weeds. Ava's obsessed with soccer and already talking about middle school drama. Ben's into robotics and dinosaurs. Some things never change. We have the dog, the minivan, the family photos on the mantle. From the outside, nothing's different. But inside these walls, we're living a life most people can only fantasize about. Erica never moved back to New York. Her promotion in Chicago stuck, and over time, her apartment became more of a landing pad than a home. Most nights, she's here. Her clothes fill half our closet. Her laugh echoes through the house as often as mine or Mark's. The kids think it's normal that Aunt Erica is around so much. They've started calling our place the big house and hers the city house. We've even talked about her officially moving in, buying a bigger place together somewhere nearby. Nothing decided yet, but the idea doesn't scare any of us. Our secret life has become just our life. The sex is still incredible. God, better than ever. We know each other's bodies inside out. Every sigh, every spot that makes the other tremble. Some nights it's slow and sweet, candles, music, taking hours to worship each other. Other nights it's raw and urgent, pushing boundaries, trying new things we find online or in the discreet packages that show up from certain websites. The switching games never get old. Last month, for our third Switch Day anniversary, we spent a weekend at a bed and breakfast up in Lake Geneva. We dressed identical the whole time, same outfits, same hairstyle, and made Mark guess who he was with every time we touched him. By Sunday, he was a wreck. So were we, in the best way. But it's more than sex, so much more. We're partners in everything. Erica helps with the kids' homework when Mark and I are slammed. Mark fixes things around her apartment when she needs it. I plan girls' nights with her that sometimes turn into all three of us sneaking away for a hotel stay. We celebrate holidays together, Thanksgiving at our house, Christmas mornings with all the presents under one tree. Last year, we took the kids to Disney World again, and watching Erica ride Space Mountain with Ava, both of them screaming and laughing, my heart felt so full I thought it might burst. Of course, it's not perfect. Nothing is. Jealousy still pops up sometimes. Erica gets quiet when Mark and I have couple moments, like parent-teacher conferences or date nights we keep just for us. Mark worries he's not enough for two women, even though we tell him every day he's more than enough.
I have moments where I wonder what people would think if they knew. Our parents, our friends, the neighbors. We've gotten better at talking it through. No bottling things up. Therapy helped, actually. We found a poly-friendly counselor online, do sessions over video once a month. It keeps us grounded. Close calls still happen. Last summer, Sarah came over unannounced for coffee, and Erica was in the shower. We scrambled. Mark stalled at the door while I hid her purse in the garage. Another time, Ava asked why Aunt Erica's bra was in Mommy and Daddy's laundry basket. I laughed it off with some story about borrowing clothes, but my heart stopped for a second. We know the risks. One slip and everything could come crashing down. Judgment, gossip, maybe worse. But the alternative, going back to normal, we tried that once, early on. Erica stayed away for 2 weeks after a big fight about boundaries. The house felt cold, empty. Mark and I barely touched each other. By day 10, we were all miserable. She showed up at midnight with a suitcase, tears in her eyes, and we promised never again. This is us now. Mark steps out onto the patio then, carrying a tray of popcorn and hot chocolate for the kids. He sets it down, kisses the top of my head, then Erica's. "Movie's ready," he says, grinning. "Elf again." Erica groans dramatically. "Third time this week?" "Tradition," he says, dropping onto the chair across from us. I look at them both, my husband, my sister, my loves, and feel this overwhelming gratitude. One small switch, one moment of mistaken identity, and it led to this. People might not understand. Hell, most wouldn't. They'd call it wrong or greedy or broken. But for us, it's whole. It's love. Deeper, wider, more honest than anything I knew was possible. Everything changed that weekend, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. Not for anything.